It's brought a whole new revival to the Democratic Party.
Lines and lines of people. Political rallies are back in fashion. Because for these voters, 2024 feels a lot like 2008.
It reminds me of the Obama era. There's something that says, ooh, this could be different.
There's so much hate in America now, and it's good to see that everybody's coming together. It reminds me of the Obama days, and it's so exciting.
In Philadelphia, the hype was for a presidential ticket they felt was finally worth queuing up for.
Would you have been here if it was Joe Biden still?
Probably not.
I don't think I would have come out if it was Joe Biden. I wouldn't have voted for Joe Biden. I think that him resigning and Kamala stepping up to the plate really did it for me.
Kamala Harris and Tim Walz.
And so inside the packed hall, they were here not just to see the potential first black female president, but also meet her new running mate.
Governor Tim Walz of the great state of Minnesota.
Introducing Tim Walz, a former high school teacher and football coach, Harris leaned into patriotism, saying their story was about the promise of America.
A daughter of Oakland, California, who was raised by a working mother. The other, a son of the Nebraska plains who grew up working on a farm. Only in America is it possible for them together to make it all the way to the White House.
Taken to the national stage for the first time, Walz criticized Republican attacks on LGBTQ and women's rights.
In Minnesota, we respect our neighbors and their personal choices that they make. Even if we wouldn't make the same choice for ourselves, there's a golden rule. Mind your own damn business.
And he used his own background to tackle and tease his fellow Midwestern rival, J.D. Vance.
Like all regular people I grew up with in the heartland, J.D. studied at Yale, had his career funded by Silicon Valley billionaires, and then wrote a bestseller trashing that community. Come on! That's not what middle America is. And I gotta tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy.
But if Walz came out swinging, so did the opposition. With the Minnesota governor proud of his liberal agenda, Donald Trump is portraying the Democrats as radical leftists.
There's never been a ticket like this. This is a ticket that would want this country to go communist immediately, if not sooner.
For Republican strategists like Whit Ayres, Harris should have made a different choice for her running mate.
She could have taken a moderate, and instead she took an ideological soulmate.
He can speak to those voters, Connie, who went to Obama and then went to Trump.
We'll see if he can. That's going to be what the campaign will be about in the Midwest. But my argument is if they wanted a very, very liberal policy, they would never have voted for Donald Trump in the first place.
If you think that Tim Walz was a bad decision, is it as bad as Donald Trump's decision to choose J.D. Vance?
Donald Trump's decision to choose J.D. Vance was done back when he was very confident that his opponent would be Joe Biden and that he would win in a walk. If he were choosing again, now facing Kamala Harris, he might choose differently.
The presidential race is back to where it was before Joe Biden's debate meltdown, a tight race where every vote counts.
I don't think it's going to be a runaway in either direction. It's going to be a nail-biter, but I truly believe that she can pull it out. I do.
Both of them are speaking with joy and kindness instead of negativity and hate. And that's what I think people are tired of.
An election that will have a winner, but will still leave a nation divided in two.
Kieran Moodley there. Well, joining me now is the political analyst and pollster Frank Luntz. Tim Walz, first of all, I mean, he hunts, he wears camouflage hats. Some say he's got big dad energy. Is any of that going to help Kamala Harris win over vital swing state voters?
It was an interesting choice because she could have had the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, who's the most popular governor in America, would have guaranteed that she would have won that state. Walz communicates that she's serious about a progressive agenda, communicates that there is an ideological difference between Republicans and Democrats, but there's no ideological difference on the Democratic side of things. I think that he's a good campaigner. I think he's got a powerful personality, and he's very well liked by his former House colleagues and his current gubernatorial colleagues. That said,
There seemed to be
the vice president. Sorry, go ahead.
Kamala Harris's campaign seems to be riding something of a wave, though, doesn't it? I mean, do you think this was ultimately a vibes pick? I mean, one of his lines last night to her was, "Thank you for bringing back the joy." Is that the contrast they're trying to draw with Donald Trump and his ticket?
Absolutely. And I think it's more than a wave. I think that this is the most significant launching of a campaign that I've seen in my professional life. You have to go back to 1940 to see an election where a candidate hits the stage and has this much enthusiasm and this much energy. And right now, the vice president, Harris, is actually the odds-on favorite to win. I know that a lot of my polling colleagues don't agree with that, but she's got momentum. She's got passion. She's got people who are not part of the political process coming back into the process, such as younger women or younger African Americans. And she's been on message, whereas Donald Trump is not. There's a long way. There's more than 90 days between now and Election Day. And there's
Sorry, Frank. I mean, you mentioned Pennsylvania, and she could have had the governor there, Josh Shapiro, and that's an absolutely crucial swing state. But there are others, aren't there? So how is she doing there versus Trump? Because that's what it really matters, isn't it?
The recent polling out of Michigan and Wisconsin, which in the end formed that Midwestern bloc, have her now at least tied or up 1% or 2%. Trump had been winning them by 1% or 2%. It's brought back into play Georgia, North Carolina, and the two others that people are watching, Nevada and Arizona. It's not a popular vote election, which I assume your viewers know. It's an electoral vote election. And those 7 states are the only states that are in play. And for Trump to win, he has to win the 4 states in the West, 2 states in the West, 2 states in the South, and only one of the 3 industrial Midwestern states. So that's why all this focus is on Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And she's even there. But make no mistake, a vice presidential candidate, other than their home state, brings absolutely nothing. Even a debate performance, an excellent debate performance, doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
The last time
they often say, don't they, Frank, do no harm in terms of the vice presidential pick, and that's the key thing. But I want to ask you about Donald Trump and what good or harm he might be doing, because we haven't seen an awful lot of him. He's going to appear at a rally in Montana on Friday. Do you think that Republican strategists are sort of keeping him away from the public eye?
What Trump should be talking about is issues, not personalities. And they're not keeping him anywhere because Donald Trump goes where Donald Trump wants to go, for better or worse. He's his own campaign manager. He's his own strategist. He's his own advanced person, and he does what he wants to do. He goes off the teleprompter often. She's going to have another bounce at the convention that's coming up August 19th to the 22nd. So we're going to go into Labor Day, the last 2 months of the campaign. I believe she's going to have a 3-point lead by that point, which is tight but significant statistically. And then it's going to be up to a presidential debate or 2 to see the difference. Make no mistake, the wind is at her back. She's got the right tone, the right demeanor, and Trump is flailing. But also on the 2 key issues, inflation and immigration, Trump has the lead.
We have to leave it there, Frank.